Good day, children. Welcome to the next session of Light and Shadows. In the last class, we saw about how materials are classified based on the amount of light that passes through them. Today, let's see about shadows. How shadows are formed? Shadows are formed when an object blocks the light either completely or partially. So for a shadow to be formed, we need a source of light, an opaque object or a translucent object, and a surface where the shadow is to be formed. You can see in this picture, the light coming from the sun is blocked by the opaque object which casts a shadow on the surface beneath. Now, let's see some features of shadow. A shadow is always formed on the opposite side of the light source. It is always black in color. A shadow shows only the shape of the object, and the size of the shadow depends on the distance between the light source and object. It also depends on the distance between the object and the surface where the shadow is formed.
Now, let's perform an activity to see how shadows are formed and how the size of the shadow changes. I have taken a torchlight as my source of light and a ball as the object. You all know that the ball is an opaque object. It does not allow light to pass through it. Now let's see what happens when I pass light through the ball. Can you see a dark spot on the wall? Yes, that's the shadow. This is because the ball has blocked the light from passing through it. The shadow is formed on the side opposite to the light source. It is only black in color, whatever may be the color of the object. It does not give any details about the object except its shape. Now let's see how the size of the shadow depends on the distance between the source of light and the object. Now, I am moving the source of light towards the object, closer to the object. Can you see the shadow has become bigger? Yes. Now, I am moving the source of light away from the object. Can you see the shadow is becoming smaller and smaller? So, this shows that the size of the shadow depends on the distance between the source of light and the object. Now, the size of the shadow also depends on the distance between the object and the surface. Now, notice the size of the shadow. I am moving the object away from the surface. Can you see? The shadow is becoming bigger. Now, I am moving the object towards the surface. Can you notice the shadow is becoming smaller? Yes. So, the size of the shadow depends both on the distance between the source of light and the object and between the object and the surface.
So children, we learned a lot about of light in this lesson, isn't it? We learned about the different sources of light and also that objects that emit light are known as luminous objects. Objects that do not emit light are known as non-luminous objects. A non-luminous object is seen because of the light that falls on them, and some amount of light is reflected to our eyes. We also learned how materials are classified into three types: based on the amount of light that passes through them. Yes, they are classified as transparent material, translucent material, and opaque material. We also learned about shadows in this lesson. With this, the lesson is over. Thank you.